Is met on Friday to assess progress on preparations for the 5 regional conferences and the 13th Provincial Conference and to receive reports on governance matters in Gauteng Province. The PEC received a report from the Provincial Working Committee on the progress being made by regions with regard to convening BGMs or Branch General Meetings and Branch Biennial General Meetings, BBGMs, that is in preparation for regional conferences and indeed the 13th Provincial Conference. The PEC calls on both the ANC and the Alliance and on all organisational and governance matters decided by the meeting. We are joined now by Hope Mankwana Papo. He is the Gauteng Provincial Secretary of the ANC. Hope, thank you very much for joining us on a Sunday. Anyway, you said Tumamina, so Balrumile even on Sunday.
Well, good afternoon, Paul. We work 7 days a week.
Yeah. Now, the PEC met. Let's just recap on some of those main points which you have decided on.
Well, the assessment of the PEC is that branch general meetings and biannual general meetings are going well. In the last 2 weeks, 142 meetings were said to have corrected and did what they were supposed to do, because we're using the same meeting for a branch biannual general meeting to also prepare for regional conferences and provincial conference. This weekend we had almost 150 scheduled meetings throughout the province. Our view is that most of the meetings went well. There would have been problems in that branch or that branch, and that regional dispute resolution committees in the 5 regions will actually adjudicate and all those particular complaints or disputes, so that by the time the conference meets, which we had targeted by the 22nd to the 24th of June, for all provincial regional conferences to have taken place, and the provincial conference by the first week of July. We also looked at the issue of heists in the province and called on the law enforcement agencies to clamp down on what is in reality terrorism. Because when you take out automatic rifles and shoot in the streets, that is what is terrorism. So we should not treat armed heists as normal somebody shoplifting. Yes. It's terrorism. They must clamp down heavily. They must be arrested. Fortunately, the Boksburg heists, those ones who did a heist in Boksburg were arrested the same day. More should be arrested, charged and sentenced. We also looked at issues of governance in Mfuleni, where we have requested government to institute section 139, section B, which mainly will assist provincial government to work with the municipality in dealing with issues of service delivery, issues of financial liquidity, issues of ensuring that the staff complement of Mfuleni actually does what they are supposed to do. We also looked at the issues relating to decisions which were taken by the National Executive Committee at the recent meeting held on the 26th to the 28th of May, where the NEC decided that all regional executive committees and provincial executive committees whose mandate have expired will be converted into task teams. For the regions, the NEC left it there. We in the PEC then conferred powers to those RTTs, regional task teams, the same powers of our regional executive committees, so we don't have confusion. Also, do you have such in the province? Remember, all our regions, 4 of them's mandate expired in October. The NEC decided that the mandate should be extended last year up to the first quarter of this year, and further extended the mandate to the second quarter. But now the NEC said they should be converted. That decision is fine, but we had to then confer, in terms of the ANC constitution, regional executive committees have got delegated powers from the provincial executive committee. That's what we did in the meeting. And so the same regional executive committees have got same delegated powers to do whatever. Main task will be to prepare for conferences which are underway.
Now, one of the major things that are happening at the moment is obviously an assessment of the term of office of the current PEC as you prepare for the next provincial conference. What are the highlights that you say you're taking to conference to say, look, ever since we were in office, this is what we have been able to achieve as Gauteng, bearing in mind that it was also under this PEC that 2 metros and a half were gone?
Yes, I think firstly our membership has not gone down since this PEC took office, because if you are leadership and your membership goes below what you had in the previous conference, there's a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Secondly is that our province held together for the past 4 years. We did not have situations where any of our structures had to be dissolved, either Regional Executive Committee or the PEC itself. We also didn't dissolve lots of branch BECs. The issue of what happened with the elections, we actually did an analysis in 2016 and outlined both internal and external factors which caused us to lose the metros. We have a recovery plan, both in Johannesburg and in Tshwane. The mess which is happening in Tshwane and Joburg, services have mainly collapsed in majority working class areas in the city centers. Joburg liquidity is questionable. Joburg in 2016 had surplus. Now we're sitting with raided surplus. Allegations by the mayor, ridiculous ones, that 12 billion has disappeared without the AG knowing. How can 12 billion disappear without reports of the AG talking about it? That is why we are saying that our recovery plan will actually, so that in an event there are elections in those municipalities, we must be ready. Tshwane, you saw, we are told that they govern better than us, and then they employ somebody who has not even a post-matric qualifications to be a chief of staff. And you know, most of the chief of staffs in governments run by the ANC have the requisite qualifications, at least basic requirements. So we've accepted our weaknesses. We will actually do an assessment at the conference level on how best we recover in Tshwane, in Joburg, and take back Midvaal. And also increase our support in Ekurhuleni so that we are not forced to have a coalition. So I think we've generally been frank about our weaknesses in the province. Where we have not done well, we accept. Where we think that there are external factors, but we normally don't hide behind external factors.
That's something which I raised yesterday a bit with the chairperson of the ANC Youth League in Gauteng. The investigation that is happening at government level, which has really now pit comrades against one another. The Youth League saying this is an attack on Lebogang Maile, the others saying Makura must go, and all that. What is the ANC's position on that matter?
You see, this ill-discipline, where you have a zone of the Youth League and 2 regions issuing statements against a province of the ANC, must be condemned, because we can't run an organization as if it's a federal structure. The Youth League has issued an official statement distancing itself from the statement of the West Rand REC of the Youth League, the statement of Sidibeng region, and Zone 16 in Johannesburg. They don't represent the Youth League in Gauteng. The statement of the Youth League provincial leadership was distancing itself. Yeah. It also talks about generational mix. There's this notion of a generational takeover. There's nothing like that. There's no policy of the ANC called generational takeover. It's generational mix, where you mix different generations in a leadership, because that's how leadership is run. You can't have one generation running the leadership. The allegations are baseless, they are false, and they are malicious. Because Premier Makura, in his capacity as Premier, has been briefing the organization throughout the term. ANC has got resolutions to deal with corruption and crime decisively. We have a Provincial Conference resolution in 2014 to do that. NASREC, the 54th National Conference, took decisions against corruption and crime. It also talked about lifestyle audits on leaders and public servants. Now, what Premier Makura was doing is implementing decisions of the ANC. He must be commended for that. How do we sit with 300 reports of forensic investigations in government and senior public servants do nothing about them? So it was reports for all the departments and agencies which were given to the Special Investigation Unit. Any normal ANC member will congratulate that action, so that anybody who has done administrative wrongs, they must be dealt with. Those who have violated the law must face the full might of the law.
Hope Papo, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Are you available, by the way?
Well,
okay. That's fine. I have my answer. Well, that was Hope Papo, the Secretary of the ANC here in the province of Gauteng. Now, moving on forward, Social Development Minister Susan Shabangu addressed the public in a closing event of the week-long Child Protection Week campaign in Ladybrand in the